Welcome to All Things Chiropractic.
Welcome to another episode of All Things Chiropractic. I'm Paul Andrews.
I'm Dr. Mark Davini.
And what are we talking about today, Doc? What is it that's on your mind?
Oh, nice segue. I like that. It's a meeting of the minds. This is really, it's near and dear to my heart, even though it's a meeting of the minds. Because in conversation with, many of our clients, I am surprised sometimes at how many people don't have in any way, shape, or form a staff meeting.
All right, look, first of all,
It's
if I
true.
knew we were going to do this topic, I probably would have bailed out because I am a hypocrite, because I'm the first one to say that in the billing company, we don't really have staff meetings very much at all anymore. I'll admit that, although they're nice when we do have them.
Right. You're in a
And
virtual world.
But
Yeah.
I guess I will be the example of someone who becomes complacent because most of my staff have been my staff for a long time. So, and now that they're remote, and
Well, I was
working at
gonna say, I was
home.
gonna defend you by saying you don't have a hands-on, in-person type of business. Everything is remote. Everybody has a set of marching orders in a sense,
Yeah,
but
but
in the
still,
chiropractic I know, I'm trying to be nice.
technology. Yeah, you don't have to defend me. It's fine. Technology is there now where it's very easy to have. And when we do, to be honest, when when we do have staff meetings, about 90% of it is just personal. We're catching up with each other and talking about stuff, and the whole real.
But
I guess it's my
and
personality.
virtual's nice, virtual's nice, but I mean, and I've mentioned this before, I mean, I'm on a licensing board in the state, for over 3 years now, 3.5 years, and we have not met as a whole board once in person. We've always just been Zoom,
Yeah,
and being on boards in the past where you met in person, there's something lost. Aside from
yeah.
the connection factor or whatever, there's a lot of things that happen in a staff meeting. I get amazed that people don't talk to their staff and then get upset when their staff isn't doing what they expect. So to me, a staff
Well,
meeting is a way of having clear communication for everything that's supposed to happen in that office.
it's harder today though because I'll say that in general, finding good staff is very difficult.
Mhm.
Keeping
Yeah.
good staff is
And this
challenging.
is a way of number 1, finding out if they're good really fast, so you don't waste your time and
Yeah,
energy.
but okay, we've talked about generational stuff. Like in the younger employee, they didn't grow up with the same upbringing in a sense. So having this collaborative in person type of meeting is is not their norm.
No, but they have a staff meeting in a sense every
You know.
minute of the day. They're in contact with people, your staff, your patients. Uh, the impression they give your patients are the impression your patients have of you. So to me, the staff meeting is just a way of saying, look, this is what I want. This is what I expect of you. We're going to have a clear communication. We're going to tell you what I want. You're going to understand my goals because whether you like it or not, that's my name on the door, which means this is going to go my way or you're not going to be here, kind of thing. But if there's problems, they're
I
going to
could
have
see that
problem
Davini
solving.
Chiropractic in today's world would have you be by yourself.
Well,
You wouldn't have any
yes
staff.
and no. I had staff that's,
That was
very long
then. I'm
time,
just
but
saying.
we had literally Monday mornings, I didn't treat patients.
Yeah.
We'd come in Monday mornings, we all, basically answer the phones, get everything all set, and had our staff meeting first
Yeah.
so that we set what it was, our expectations for the week, if we had any issues that we had with patients that we saw in the schedule. Uh, and do you know who ran the staff meeting? Who would you think ran the staff meeting?
Probably the front desk, the CA or the man, the administrator,
They
office
all did.
manager,
It rotated.
you know.
Everybody had their chance to run the meeting so that everybody understood what it was like to be accountable. We had staff meeting agendas, so it was simple. The things were written down. Everything
Yeah.
was, pretty much a plug and play kind of thing. But the idea was that you all got to do exactly what you said earlier. We did a little bit of talk. How was your weekend? How was good? How blah, blah, how are the kids? Everything okay? And it allowed you a little bit of bonding. So staff meetings do allow for bonding in some ways. And then you get to the staff of business, and we talk about this over and over again about goals, right? Oh my God. How do you expect to have to meet your goals if you don't even state them? And if you were to sit there in a staff meeting and all of a sudden on Monday morning you say, and you're used to seeing 200 patients a week, and you go, today I'm gonna declare that by the end of the week, we're gonna see 400 patient visits. And your staff's gonna look at you and go, "Yeah, right.
Yeah, without me.
Yeah, yeah, I won't be here." So, and not that it's anything that clear or that easy, but for the most part, it does allow an opportunity for people to express themselves, good and bad, about what's gonna happen for the
Yeah,
week.
I mean, there's no argument that having staff meetings is a good thing, especially if they're structured. Having
Oh,
a staff meeting without an agenda and a structure is actually probably worse than having the staff meeting at all because it can just go off the rails. We all have different
oh,
personalities and what
oh,
in attending staff meetings in the past, what I liked about some of the staff meetings that I attended at different offices is that the ones that I thought really went well was there was a little of everything. So there was like, the personal, like how you doing stuff, checking with everybody. But also there was the structure,
mhm,
the week either behind us or ahead of us, but also clinical challenges and successes so that
yeah.
the
We used to
staff
present a
was
case.
participating, right?
Yeah, we presented a case because, a lot of times the front desk doesn't even truly understand the miracles that take place in the clinical spaces. It depends on your office, of course. But yeah, absolutely. We'd stand there and the clinical CA would actually be the one to make the presentation about a patient. And it would be their responsibility to pick the patient of the week or the case of the week type of thing and say, okay, this patient came in, had this, had that. And guess what? They've been treated and now they're this and now they're that. And it just allows the rest of the staff to understand that we're really doing something here, not just, having people come in and go out and get an adjustment. It would work in reverse too. We also had the opportunity to present challenging patients, Paul.
Mhm.
Challenging patients, You'd look at the schedule and go, "Oh, so and so's coming in again. All right, doc, I don't know one time this person's come in where you've ended up walking out of that room on time. What's the problem? Right? Why is it that you can never be on time with this person? And sometimes it's the patient, and maybe sometimes it's you, you know?
Mhm.
So, and you get to know the body language, all of a sudden if that patient was in, for some reason or other, my CA found more than one reason to keep coming in and out of that
Yeah, right.
that treatment room.
Bail me out of this. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that
Oh,
does happen, but
mm,
I also think that maybe it's good for the providers to know the miracles that happen at the front desk. The fact that you even made it through a
yeah,
day.
yeah,
Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
there's that,
There's that, yeah.
doc, FYI.
Oh, and it's not a grievance session, because those are personal, but it's a practice grievance session, where collectively there might be something that's affecting the business itself. And then you're able to, as a group, troubleshoot it and work it out. Yeah, well, this is that. And oh, did you know that, I noticed there was, this dirt spot in the rug that you never see because you're never in that part of the office.
Mm.
So we have to schedule to have the rugs cleaned or something like that, whatever. We used to have project reports, because you always get some kind of project going, right? And there'd be a project report. Where are we? How's that all going? And most of it, my best example of my staff meeting was that, for my 10th anniversary, I wanted to go back to where we went for our honeymoon. So I had to schedule out 2 weeks in advance, way in advance,
Mhm.
and, of course, all the logistics of scheduling the trip. And I had to do this without my wife knowing because
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a surprise. So we faked the schedule. We faked, we faked phone calls. We faked everything. And the time and place that my wife knew that she was leaving the following week was at a staff meeting.
Was
I
she
said, "So
pissed?
now we have to talk about what we're gonna do when we're gone for 2 weeks."
Was she pissed?
No, no, it was too stunned to be angry.
After the fact to say, "The entire office could lie to me that much?"
They
Wow.
lied. Oh my god, they were
I don't
so
know, that
good
could have
at it. It
backfired
was
on you.
scary. Yeah, it was so scary how good they were at it.
Aw. Well,
Uh-huh, that's right. So anyway, I'm just saying it was an opportunity to do projects. It's an opportunity to discuss challenging patients. We used to review our stats from the previous week and based on that, set personal, office goals for the next week. Certain inventory requirements. Oh, by the way, we need toilet paper. Whatever.
it seems to me, because the challenge I would think that would be out there right now is people aren't less busy, they're more busy.
Oh,
So trying to incorporate this into your, especially if you haven't been doing it, incorporate this into your routine. There's a lot to it. I mean, there's the
oh,
agenda
absolutely.
itself, right? I mean, then
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
cooperation, what if you don't do stats? Like all these different things that would make sense, but it might seem a
Right.
little daunting if
But
you're
it made
not
our
doing it.
efficiency so much higher that the time we spent making this happen and completing this task far offset the efficiency in the office, and we were able to see more and not compromise quality. Everybody was on the same page. Everybody was on the same team. We do what, we advocate very strongly. We do role playing, a lot of role playing, and because the person running the meeting was always somebody, not always because we rotated around, but was different from the person who ran the previous meeting. It was an opportunity for everybody to feel that role of being in charge and not just being
Was
somebody
there
that's being told what to
was
do.
there ever critical feedback of those people running the meeting?
Well, there was definitely some meetings that were better than the others for sure.
Yeah, just saying, you know?
Yeah. But it does allow you that opportunity to see the good, the bad, and the ugly of your staff as far as
Yeah.
their capabilities. So,
Not everyone's a leader, I'll tell you that,
no,
so,
no.
you
So,
know
and then you wouldn't put a leader, a non-leader in a leader role, you know? But and this was a quote by Henry Ford that I found and I loved it. It said, "Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress, and working together is success." And that's
Yeah.
so true. Getting everything in place, setting up your office, getting your degree, doing what you have to do is the easy part. The hard part is that you keep doing it day in and day out, and that requires everybody to be on the same page.
I was the pioneer of the assembly line, that makes a lot of sense, right? That
Makes a lot of sense.
that
And,
quote.
when you think about it, what's more of an assembly line than what we do? You hate to say that because
Hey,
again,
how
as an
dare
individual,
you minimize
I
chiropractic in
know.
such a way?
Yeah, but we do see volume. We see a lot of people in a short period of time. No matter what your practice is, there's still one after the other.
Are you saying, like, drive-through chiropractic, Like
No, no. The idea is, do you want to be the Model T assembly line or the Porsche assembly line?
yeah, well, there you go. True enough, but, on these assembly lines, they're not really cross-trained, right? They just know their one thing. It's like these butcher, slaughterhouses where they can cut out the ribs, but they don't have to do anything else on the cow or something
Yeah,
like
I can
that,
only
like
hold the cleaver in my left hand. I don't know how
yeah.
to hold it in my
Well, I
right
mean,
hand.
I guess practices are small enough that that couldn't possibly be the case, but
Well, and for the most part, everybody should feel as if they're best at their job. But yeah, they definitely need to know a few other things. The clinical
Yeah.
CA should at least know how to answer the phone according to established protocols.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to be perfect at it or as good as
No,
the person who usually does it, but when people call out sick or take vacations or lie to their spouse and then take 2 weeks off, you need people that are cross-trained, right?
that's
To to do that. It makes sense,
exactly,
you know?
exactly,
But
and
did you have did you have sort of guardrails where people, staff that they don't, let's say, complain about another person at a staff meeting or
well, it wasn't allowed, of course, but, you said it earlier, the agenda was everything, and the agenda was set within a time frame. We had 40 minutes for a staff meeting. That was it. So, it not only did the person who ran the staff meeting have to be mindful of that, they also learned time management and how it feels to be under the clock.
it
So,
was Monday morning,
the
so there's did you feed them breakfast? Did you get them anything? Pastries,
well, we
coffee?
we had a little kitchenette area there, so, yeah, we'd
Yeah.
bring in something for and have our kitchen, but it was a nice way nobody felt like they hit the ground running. They showed up, they answered, they got the messages, they made the changes in the schedule because inevitably there's changes on Monday morning, right? They made the changes, scheduled the people that wanted to come in, needed to get in. Patients never knew I wasn't treating on Monday mornings. They never knew it because
Mm.
if they called on a Monday morning, they said, "I need to get in." I said, "Great, 2 o'clock. All right, thank you." Any reports that needed to be done, any types of insurance work that was on my side was done. I got all that done upfront in the beginning. And you walked into the office and you didn't feel like you hit the ground running. We all talked, we all communicated, we all knew what the week held in front of us and made our plans, set our goals, connected, caught up, and then by Monday afternoon, we're off and running. But
Did
we were ready
anyone
for it
ever
by then.
walk in with a hangover?
uh, I sheesh, you mean beside me? No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
exactly.
No, not that
No.
I know of.
Yeah, they weren't
But
good
and
for you.
actually it was, I had 2 places where my staff got adjusted. They could get adjusted Monday morning or Friday afternoon, unless they had a problem. Most of the time, we wanted Monday morning because everybody wanted out. We
Oh,
closed early
yeah.
on Friday afternoon. So yeah, there was just so much good in all of that connection time, and especially with the staff meeting itself being a huge time to connect. Huge time. Go ahead.
And, I was just thinking back on several staff years and years ago, the kind of staff meetings that sometimes would happen, and, sometimes there were fireworks, not gonna lie,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
depends on the personalities, and there was this
We had them, of course, not in the staff meetings, but we certainly had, times where there were certain members that weren't as easy to get along with as others. Um,
there was this
and
one
those
staff
things
meeting
were kept outside the staff meeting.
this one staff meeting that we had to talk about the massage therapist who fell asleep on her clients, and then it was actually kinda sad because then we started finding empty bottles of liquor all over the office, hidden, all over
Oh,
the place. It was like, it's terrible.
oh,
But, that
it
stuff
was
comes out,
pretty bad.
how
It
would you know if you didn't
does.
have
It
staff
well,
meetings?
that's it, and you troubleshoot. I remember one time, things like, timers, instituting the use of timers for certain things. Well, I forgot this patient was even in that room and they were just waiting to be dismissed. They finally got up themselves and, because we had so many
Yeah.
rooms that unless you followed the sequence and the protocols, then you say, "Okay, that can't ever happen again. What do we do to forget that to make sure that that doesn't happen?" So it was a nice
Not
opportunity
gonna
to
lie, I've done that a couple of times on a patient,
yeah,
left
yeah,
them there. They're
yeah.
s they're face down with the hot pack that's now freezing with the stim that had ended 5 minutes ago, and they're
Yeah,
just
hot pack
wondering
becomes a
if they
cold
can get
pack,
up.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, Oh, it's so embarrassing. Oh,
Oh,
it's the
yeah,
worst.
yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've told this story before about our amiable chair, and
Yeah.
basically it was a chair that wasn't seen in the reception room, and we would have never known that without somebody bringing it up in a staff meeting that chair was a chair that an amiable would sit in till the cows come home before they'd ever say that we were passing over them. And so it forced us to put a mirror in the corner to see the chair.
Yeah.
So little stuff like that, you can't pre-think or pre-authorize everything, right?
Exactly. Boy, is
Yeah,
that true. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, that stuff
yeah,
comes up. Sometimes you get
yeah,
real gems,
yeah.
out of
And I
staff
liked it. I
meetings.
thought it was a fun way to just, connect with your staff because if they always think you're nothing but business, then, there's a part of it that gets missed for sure. Like I said, with my board meetings, everybody's great. They're wonderful people. I sure would like to know them a little better than what I know from the, 2 hours we have on a Zoom.
Do you ever like passively aggressively call out a staff person? Meaning, like you're mentioning board meetings, so I'm on my state board and I chair it. And when I know a board member hasn't read their packet, sometimes I'll ask them an opinion or, you
Mm.
know, put them on the spot just as a way of saying, like, subtly saying, like, read your packet.
No, I mean, I'm not as mean as you, so I guess it
Eh,
wouldn't.
yeah, listen, we've all phoned it in a little bit, but, you got
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
prepared. You know what I mean?
Be prepared. Yeah, that's it. And again, that's what I'm saying. Staff meetings allow us to be prepared before we even see patient 1 for the week.
Boy, is that true.
Uh,
So it matters. Have a
it does.
staff meeting or more.
Yeah.
Boy, now if
I when we were
my
talking
staff
about
listen to this, I'm gonna hear about it now. Thanks a lot.
forever, right? Yeah. It was funny when we were coming up with the title and, meeting of the minds or whatever,
Yeah.
we are talking about this, and I suggested to Paul we use the term mind meld. And what was your answer?
I forget what my answer was.
You said nobody under
Oh,
50 will know what that
yeah,
means. So I'm
right.
gonna leave you with this. All of you people, all of you though, of those listeners out there who don't know what the word mind meld means and where it came from, I challenge you to look it up.
And if you are a fan of that classic that we're talking about, there's a one-word, uh, line in that particular movie, "Remember." Just gonna say that
Remember.
as a little hint. But
Well,
anyway,
we can close with remember.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Alright, doc, that was it. So staff meetings it is. I hope that when you're out there, you're not, like me and don't have them or don't have them
Well,
enough.
we're actually having one now,
Yeah,
you and me.
yeah. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is a staff meeting. There we go.
this is a staff meeting
Yeah,
for us. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you again for listening to another episode of All Things Chiropractic. I'm Paul Andrews.
I'm Dr. Mark Davini. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to All Things Chiropractic. We'd love to hear from you. Visit allthingschiropractic.com with comments, episode ideas, or questions. Or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at All Things Chiropractic Podcast. Be sure to join Dr. Mark Davini and Paul Andrews next time for another episode of All Things Chiropractic.